This is Shelley Kraft coming to you live on SNNLive. We're coming to you from the LD Micro 11th Annual Main Event in Bel Air, California, 2018. I have with me today Todd Davis from CBD Unlimited, Inc. It's a publicly traded company, and the symbol is EDXC. Todd, welcome back to SNNLive.
Thanks for having me again. It's great to see you.
It's good to have you. Now let's get started with a overview of the company, if you would.
Well, we are CBD Unlimited. We're one of the original pioneers in the hemp industry when it comes to all things CBD.
Now, let's get a little history on the company.
Historically, we've been a technology services company. We started off in the cannabis space as a technology purveyor, where we had tracking systems, dispensing systems, point-of-sale systems that it was just way too soon in the industry, but it really taught us a lot about the inefficiencies of the market. So over time, I had a background in the biotech arena, as we both came from that part of the investment banking world. I looked at the opportunities in CBD. I knew that in cannabis there was something special going on. So we set out when the pilot program started in 2014 to figure out one primary thing: dosing. Nobody talked about it. Nobody knew anything about it. So I recruited doctors. We set up some basic applied science clinical studies, and we started testing patients. How much do you have to give somebody of CBD to find out its therapeutic value? And we did that per delivery system that existed in the market at the time. So once we figured that out, we were wowed by it. One, that it was very low dosing, and two, that it was providing extraordinary therapeutic results for patients that were chronically sick and chronically in a horrible state of pain or inflammation. So we looked at that data and we said, all right, let's build on this. So we took the data points, we created products around the delivery systems, we targeted our dosing, we targeted our delivery systems, and in the end, we developed a full suite of products that represented CBD inside a pilot program as a legitimate industry. Now the hemp industry is going to become legal here in the next month or two when the Farm Bill Act passes. The hemp language is in there. It's been completely separated away from cannabis, marijuana. And it will be an agricultural product. It will be a food product, a food additive, and eventually it'll be a scientific pharmaceutical product. But in these early stages, we've transitioned from being under the name Endexx Corporation, which is technology. We've moved that down as a subsidiary, and CBD Unlimited really is the face of the company. We are specialists in CBD.
Now, it's been a while since I've seen you and interviewed you, so although you just dropped a good update, I'd like to get some more updates from you, so if you would.
So hiring the right people was critical here. We've moved from the pilot program part of the equation to commercial. And I recruited one of our key players is Dustin Sullivan. He's our new chief operating officer, 18 years at Walgreens. It's like the farm team of the Major League Baseball, like the Cubs. He's trained everybody, worked with everybody in the big box pharmacy space, and he identifies how do you get a product like this into the commercial market when supply is not always there. So he brings a level of expertise that the company really needed, and we are now in front of the biggest buyers in the United States to roll out into 30,000 stores over the next year to 2 years. So that is really where our ambition is. We have diversified a little bit. We entered into the Jamaican market, which is the first country, even before Canada, that went completely legal marijuana. We're using Jamaica as a testing ground for therapeutic products for THC and CBD, but primarily as a hub for international distribution. The United States isn't positioned for that yet. Canada is more so. So we're tapping into that relationship with Jamaica and Canada to provide that international exposure that we've been looking for in that space. So take our technology, take our practices, apply it to a foreign body, and now we have a go-to-market strategy there.
What's your key competitive advantage?
Knowledge. You know, we have doctors, we have science, we have applied skill sets that will take a molecule that does extraordinary things and turn it into something that the average everyday person can use, that the doctor can adopt into his practice. it doesn't have to be a miracle. It just needs to be effective, and it has to be therapeutic in nature. And we have to keep it simple. This should not be something that is a replace for everything. It's a support mechanism that's changing the quality of life for people. So make it accessible to people, and that's when we have a successful product.
Now, to follow along with that, what's the competitive landscape like?
It's growing. We have lots of competitors. There's a few pioneers that are in the business. There's maybe 10 really good companies that started off and are still in business. There's a whole bunch coming. One of the things that the public needs to be aware of is that a lot of them are just jumping on the bandwagon to sell something that's hot. So sourcing is an issue in this industry. Also, we haven't had enough supply in the United States to supply the market to meet this rising demand. So if you have thousands of companies trying to compete for a little space, eventually we're going to have a supply-demand issue in the United States. Now with the Farm Bill Act, that will help rectify that. That once that becomes a commodity-based industry, we'll have plenty of supply, and it'll revert back to quality of product.
Who's your target market?
You. Literally, it's the 50 to 100-year-old people that have lost their mobility, that are in states of chronic inflammation, chronic pain, that are looking for an alleviation without getting addicted to pharmaceutical drugs. A lot of the people out there today are taking anywhere from 5 to 20 drugs to stay chemically balanced, and in the end, they're chemically unbalanced. So a natural product like this comes along that has a broad spectrum approach, and it can alleviate the amount of chemicals that an older person needs to take and improve their quality of life. So naturally, the market has come to us in that 50 to 100-year-old. Granted, it has applications for children, athletes, everybody else that's out there, but that is the market that seems to be our niche.
So let's get into CBD a little bit. Legalities, can people travel with it? Is it available across the board? What states have it? What states don't? Talk to me.
All right. So this pilot program has been under the hemp side of the equation, not the marijuana side of the equation. So if it's a marijuana derivative, it has to stay inside the borders of that state that's a legal state. It can't leave. If your source is marijuana, it's stuck in that state legally. Now, people are transporting that, and they're moving around, well, it's below a certain content of THC, but in reality is, if the source is marijuana, you have to stay in that regulatory body. Hemp has allowed us to expand it nationwide. So we can cross borders. We can use the U.S. mail for transportation. You can take this anywhere. A mom or dad or any person carrying CBD from hemp is in a legal state. So the nice thing about the Farm Bill Act is it differentiates it from marijuana, and it talks about each component of the plant itself, saying no one molecule, no one derivative, no one thing from that plant is illegal now. It's all legal, and it's an agricultural product. So from a state-to-state standpoint, each state is going to have to come up with their own regulatory oversight if they want to be growers, if they want to be producers of CBD from hemp. Otherwise, it's going to default back to the USDA, which it has the federal level coverage from a legal standpoint for the hemp industry. So by default, you're under a federal guideline, but if you really want to run this correctly, a state department has to cover it. So Colorado was a prime example. Their agricultural department picked it up, they ran with it, and they did it right from the beginning. They built something around that. Now all the other states, there's 41 states right now that are participating in the hemp industry, and the rest of them will come along. They all need it from an agricultural standpoint.
Now, as a public company, only tell me what you can, but what are some growth drivers looking forward?
It's always been distribution for us. We look at this industry as how many points of distribution can you get in? How many channels can you get in and be effective? So our drivers have been, first in the pilot program, we wanted to get to roughly 1,000 distribution points, and we're there. Our next step is 5,000 distribution points by the end of next year, and then ultimately into the 30 to 50,000 with both a human product and an animal product sidekick. So distribution is our driver. We've got products that we know work every single time you take it, and each one of the products has tested out to be a favorable product for the market. So just producing products into those channels that continually grow. The pilot program gave us a good study. we have over a 70% reorder rate. We have a 20% growth rate at the store level in the stores that buy from us. So we see those same numbers scaling out over big pharmacy. Big pharmacy is going to provide this at a different price point, but they're going to provide it to a lot more people as 24 hours a day. So getting into those channels is what I feel our primary strength. International distribution is our second driver. And then underlying is our technology solutions that will be going into the same pharmacy spaces that ultimately could be a third point of distribution for us.
Let's get your website out for more information, if you would.
All right, so go to CBDUnlimited.com. That's our sales division. We'll have a CBD Unlimited Inc. and a CBD Unlimited Wholesale, all branded under that major umbrella. We do have other branches, but over time, it all comes back. We are CBD Unlimited.
Ladies and gentlemen, Todd Davis, CBD Unlimited Inc. It's a publicly traded company, and the symbol is EDXC. I'm Shelley Kraft. This is SNNLive, and we're coming to you live from the LD Micro 11th Annual Main Event in Bel Air, California, 2018. Todd, always good to see you.
Shelley, my pleasure. Great to see you again.